What if I told you that your dog lives in a world you can't even begin to imagine, and you've been blind to it this whole time? I know it sounds crazy, but hear me out. While you're scrolling through your phone or binging that same Netflix series, your dog is literally seeing things that are completely invisible to you. And I'm not talking about some metaphorical dogs are more sensitive thing. I mean actual measurable, observable realities that your human eyes and brain are too limited to detect. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Your dog isn't just barking at nothing. He might be seeing light you can't see, picking up movements you missed, feeling your emotions before you even understand them yourself. And yeah, possibly even sensing things that science hasn't figured out how to explain yet. Spirits, energies, residual presences. Before you scoff, let me ask, how many times have you brushed off your dog's behavior just because you didn't understand it? This isn't about superstition. It's about uncovering a layer of reality that most people never even stop to consider. And once you learn what your dog can truly see and why, you'll never look at him the same way again. In fact, you might just start wondering what else you've been blind to in your own life. Ready to pull back the curtain? Ultraviolet light. Most people go through life thinking they see all there is to see. But here's the kicker. The world you think you know is filtered, heavily. While you're staring at a bright blue sky or your freshly mopped kitchen floor, your dog? Yeah, he's seeing something entirely different thanks to his ability to detect ultraviolet light. Now don't roll your eyes just yet. This isn't some sci-fi fantasy. Scientifically speaking, dogs have fewer color receptors than humans, but what they lack in chromatic depth, they make up for in range. That includes seeing ultraviolet light, which to us is as invisible as a whisper in a hurricane. You see a white wall? Your dog might be picking up glowing stains, tiny dust trails, or dried splatters from 3 weeks ago. Gross, right? But that's reality through their eyes. Imagine for a second how this affects their behavior. Ever noticed your dog barking at a blank wall or sniffing obsessively at a clean countertop? Chances are he's reacting to something you're biologically blind to. That sock on the floor? It might be lit up like a neon sign to him in ultraviolet wavelengths. And this changes the game. It's not just that your dog has better vision, it's that he's interacting with a layer of reality you didn't even know existed. This opens up an entire dimension of how they explore the world, how they track scents, and even how they choose where to rest or avoid. They're not being weird, they're being wired. Now, how does this relate to you? Simple. Awareness. If your dog's reacting to something that isn't there, maybe it's time to pause before brushing it off. Try this. Get a cheap UV flashlight online. Shine it around your home. You'll be shocked at what shows up. Spots on your carpet, handprints on the wall, maybe even a trail of paw prints leading to that mysterious corner your dog always stares at. No, it's not haunted. Well, we'll get there. But it is very real. What's invisible to you can be obvious to him. And this teaches us something powerful. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it isn't there. There's a metaphor in all of this too. Sometimes we live blind to opportunities, signs, or even dangers because we rely too much on our limited senses. We miss subtle clues in relationships, ignore intuition in business, or overlook emotional shifts in people we love. Kind of like being colorblind to the truth. But dogs? They teach us to be sensitive to the unseen. And speaking of sensitivity, their perception goes far beyond light and color. It bleeds into the realm of movement, those tiny shifts and ripples most of us are far too distracted to notice. Subtle movements. It's funny how people say, "I didn't see that coming," when most of the time the signs were right in front of them, just too small to notice. That's where dogs leave us in the dust. Their eyes, their instincts, their whole being is fine-tuned to detect subtle movements, the kind of shifts that slip right past the average human's radar. A twitch of a lip, the slight tilt of a head, a barely there flicker of anxiety in someone's posture. They catch all of it. And no, it's not magic. It's biology sharpened by evolution. In the wild, survival depends on noticing what others miss. That legacy lives on in your dog, even if he's napping in air conditioning and being hand-fed chicken bites. Ever watched your dog suddenly perk up while everything seems still to you? Maybe a squirrel darted across the lawn a split second before your eyes registered it. Or maybe your neighbor just shifted behind their blinds. Your dog's reaction time is practically cinematic, like watching life in slow motion. And the wild part? They don't just react to physical motion, they respond to intent. That means if someone's about to move, like reaching for a leash or heading to the fridge, your dog may already be halfway there before you even finish your thought. They're tracking micro movements, patterns you don't even know you're making. You think you're unpredictable? Not to your dog. There's a lesson here. Humans, for all our advanced thinking, tend to overlook the microsignals that reveal everything. In communication, those subtle movements speak louder than words. A shift in someone's eye contact, the tapping of a foot, the way someone's fingers twitch when they're nervous, your dog's picking all that up. And guess what? So can you, if you train yourself. Start observing people the way a dog might. Not in a creepy way, just tuned in. In meetings, pay attention to who leans forward when a topic changes. At home, watch how a loved one's tone shifts before a difficult subject comes up. These things are signals. They matter. Try this little practice. Sit in a coffee shop or a park, turn off your phone, and just watch people. See if you can guess their mood based on movement alone. You'll start picking up on what your dog's known all along, that the body whispers things long before the mouth ever speaks. And while you're learning to see with new eyes, remember, this sensitivity to subtle movements doesn't end with behavior. There's a deeper layer, a more emotional frequency your dog taps into with eerie precision. Human emotions. Now this one's wild. Your dog doesn't just see how you move, he feels how you feel. Before you've even opened your mouth or forced that fake smile, he already knows something's off. Dogs are emotional sponges. They read human emotions like you read street signs, except they don't need letters. They catch it all. Stress, excitement, sadness, fear, each one leaving invisible trails like footprints in wet cement. You can't hide it from them. And no, they're not mind readers. They're just that tuned in. It's like their radar for subtle movements evolved into a sixth sense for emotional energy. Combine that with their ability to see ultraviolet light, and you start to realize they live in a reality layered with cues we're too distracted to notice. Picture this. You come home after a rough day. You say, "I'm fine," but your dog's already curled up next to you, eyes locked on yours, offering quiet support. Or maybe you're hyped, bouncing around getting ready for a party. Your dog starts pacing, tail wagging, catching that surge of excitement from your body language and tone. They aren't reacting to your words, they're reacting to your energy, your frequency, your vibe. And yes, that's a thing. They've studied it. Dogs pick up on the smell of cortisol, stress hormone, in your sweat, changes in your breathing, and even micro-tensions in your muscles. You're broadcasting a signal 24/7, and your dog? He's always tuned in. This should make you think a little deeper. If dogs are this good at sensing our internal state, why aren't we better at managing it, for ourselves and for them? We live in a hyper-digital world that disconnects us from our own emotions, let alone someone else's. But your dog doesn't need Wi-Fi. He's emotionally present 100% of the time. That's why therapy dogs work so well. They're not trained to fix emotions. They're trained to hold space for them. And that's something we could all learn. Maybe it's time to stop ignoring your emotional climate and start managing it like you would your physical health. Try building more emotional awareness the way your dog does, through presence, pattern, and proximity. When you feel off, don't shove it down. Acknowledge it. Name it. Sit with it. Even better, watch how your dog reacts. He's like a mirror reflecting back the mood you're in. Let that guide your self-check-ins. And as you start to pay closer attention to these emotional undercurrents, you'll see how they're woven into every interaction, just like the light you can't see and the movements you barely catch. But there's still something more elusive, something your dog notices that's harder to explain. Some would call it energy, others intuition, but many believe it's something beyond, spirits or unseen presences. All right, now we're entering the territory that makes even the skeptic sit up straighter. You've probably heard someone say, "My dog keeps barking at nothing," or "He just stares into the corner like he sees a ghost." And here's the kicker. Maybe he does. Now, I'm not here to tell ghost stories around a campfire, but when you line up everything we've talked about, ultraviolet light, subtle movements, and an uncanny read of human emotions, it's not such a stretch to consider that dogs might also be tuned into spirits or unseen presences. I mean, how do you explain that moment at 3 a.m., when your dog suddenly wakes up, ears alert, eyes locked on an empty hallway, growling low, while you're just lying there frozen under the covers? Let's put it this way. Dogs operate on a different frequency. Literally. Their hearing picks up sounds way beyond our range. Their noses detect molecules we'd never notice, and their sight includes dimensions of ultraviolet light. Combine that sensory superpower with their instinct for subtle movements and emotional shifts, and suddenly the idea of them perceiving something we can't becomes less spooky and more logical. There are countless accounts of dogs reacting to places or people with no visible trigger, refusing to enter a room, whining at a specific chair, or getting visibly anxious during moments of deep emotional heaviness. It's as if they're sensing more than just the material world. Of course, science hasn't fully embraced the idea of dogs seeing spirits, but try telling that to the dog who refuses to sleep near your grandmother's old rocking chair, or the rescue pup who growls at the exact same corner of the basement every single night. Now, whether these are spirits, shifts in atmospheric energy, or residual human emotions trapped in a space, which some believe can linger like scent trails, the takeaway is the same. Dogs pick up on something, and it would be unwise to dismiss that just because we don't have a name for it. Just like we can't see ultraviolet light, but it's absolutely real, maybe the unseen is simply the unseen for now. You don't have to become a paranormal investigator, but paying attention when your dog reacts to what seems like nothing can actually teach you to sharpen your own instincts. Maybe that gut feeling you get when walking into a room isn't just nerves. Maybe your dog pacing the floor before you get that unexpected phone call isn't a coincidence. So next time your pup barks into thin air or gets jumpy near a silent wall, pause, watch, listen. There might be more going on than you think. After all, the layers of reality we ignore are often the ones holding the biggest truths. So, knowing everything you know now, are you still going to ignore your dog the next time he stares into the dark or growls at an empty hallway? Or are you finally ready to admit, just maybe, he sees a version of reality that you don't? Because here's the truth. While we humans are busy filtering the world through logic and screens, our dogs are living fully present, tuned into ultraviolet light, reacting to subtle movements, soaking in human emotions, and possibly, just possibly, sensing spirits or unseen presences. The question is, what are you going to do with this knowledge? Will you start paying more attention to your surroundings? Will you tune into the energies, the unspoken messages, the invisible details your dog picks up on every single day? Or will you go back to thinking he's just being weird? Because I'll tell you this, those who learn to observe like dogs see more, feel more, and understand more. And let's be real, how much have you missed because you weren't paying attention? If this opened your eyes even a little, then don't let it stop here. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me what your dog does that never made sense until now. And hey, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. Because this is just the beginning. There's a lot more your dog and this channel is ready to show you.